Well, welcome, Executive Director for the Roundtable of St. Lucie County. Welcome to our show, St. Lucie Rise. Rise standing for resilience and self-empowerment. This is an initiative of our Behavioral Health Task Force, in which we wanted to provide tools and resources to our community to help navigate these uncertain times that we're working. And even today, we are in the midst and throes of the election. Many people are experiencing an all-time high of anxiety. And of course, we have COVID and a number of social issues that are going on. And we realized that we wanted to be a support to our community, to provide helpful resources to you, your family, your colleagues, your neighbors, so that we're able to support the resilience of our community and navigate these times. So with us, I'm very excited to introduce Colleen Walts. She is a member of the Behavioral Health Task Force that helped us to think through this and to talk about how we can create opportunity for our community. And she is the Community Relations Specialist for 211. And I'm really excited to talk about 211 because for a long time, I've heard about 211 in the community, and I was not quite sure what 211 was all about. So now this is an opportunity for us to have this discussion and to ask some questions to find out all that 211 has to offer. So welcome, Colleen.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative to have this opportunity to speak to our services and our programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you on. So let's just start off with the obvious question. What exactly is 211?
Yes, so 211 is a free and confidential community helpline and a crisis suicide support lifeline number. So we are a national nonprofit organization. We have about 95% coverage across the United States of America. So what we do is basically host a community database that we can refer clients and residents in the areas to programs and services that they may not even know exist. So we do understand how overwhelming it is for people to navigate the youth and human service sector. And what we do is really take that guesswork out for them. So if they need services like employment or housing or food assistance or any sort of social service, completely free of charge to those services.
Oh, that's very exciting because I know crisis and things are, just going haywire. You want to be able to have a number you can call that say, well, hey, where can I find this? Where can I find that? How long has 211 been around? I remember when I was in the community doing a lot of work, we were thinking about 211 years ago. How long has it been around in St. Lucie County?
Yeah, so we've actually been around since the 1970s down in Palm Beach County. We actually started as a drug and alcohol referral line. And then back in the early 2000s, the FCC nationally wanted to establish a nationally recognized number being 211. So at that time, our local community referral line actually wanted to join the 211 network. And that's when we became part of 211. So fundamentally, we've actually started just down in Palm Beach County, but in the early 2000s is when we expanded into the Treasure Coast. And then most recently in 2005, we expanded into Indian River County, which is our newest county, but we've been there for 15 years. So I really can't say it's very new at this point, but we have expanded slowly. And, it's important to note too, that we are broken down by chapters within the state. So just here in Florida, we have over 20 211 chapters. And like I mentioned, over 95% coverage across the United States. So no one should have to feel that since they're only in St. Lucie County that they can utilize our services. If they have friends and family living outside our local community, whether in Florida or nationwide, they can simply dial 211 anytime.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, when we think about 211, what is your service area?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, we are broken down by county within the state. So we represent the Palm Beach chapter and the Treasure Coast chapter. So that's Palm Beach County, Martin County, St. Lucie County, Okeechobee County, and Indian River County. We do have some sister agencies that are located south and north of us. So we have a Miami-Dade County for the Miami area, as well as a Broward 211. And then north of us, we have a Brevard 211 as well.
Okay. All right, very nice. So it really is a network. So that's just good to know for our community members that if you are visiting someone somewhere else in a part of the state, you should be able to dial 211 for the most part. Are there any areas that there aren't any coverage, or is this
Typically, our biggest funder is the United Way. So if there's a United Way in the counties that you're a resident of, then typically you're going to find a 211 chapter. But yep, like I said, we have about 95% coverage. So it's really going to be rare if you cannot locate a 211 chapter. But you can always go to our main 211 website, which is 211.org. You can put in your zip code there and it'll give you actually the local number to any of our 211 chapters.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Oftentimes when I think 211, I think this is a suicide prevention line. This is something when you're in crisis. Are you only a suicide prevention hotline, or are there other things?
No, I'm so glad that you brought that up. So fundamentally across the board, if you were to dial 211, that's who we are at nationwide, is that crisis referral line and suicide prevention line. However, within our different chapters at 211, we have different auxiliary programs. So for us locally here in Palm Beach and the Treasure Coast, we have several different programs available to our residents aside from our community and support line.
Okay, all right, that's good to know as well.
Yeah.
When you get phone calls, types of requests for help do you get normally?
Yeah, so I usually joke and say there really is no wrong call to come to 211. We really do triage every single phone call we get coming in through our doors and get them connected to community-based services where appropriate. It's also super important to note that, people just want to talk, and they could have had maybe a frustrating day at work or maybe a fight with a spouse or a loved one that they just need to vent some frustrations or just need a guiding ear to listen to them. We are absolutely available for that, as well as emergency counseling. But typically the types of calls that we get are for housing assistance, food assistance, domestic violence issues, problems at school with our teens. We get veteran affair questions for our veterans that are either discharging from military service and becoming civilians. We also get calls for mental health concerns, people looking for treatment centers, drug addiction. Really, it's the full gamut of what you can imagine.
Well, have you seen a change during COVID and all the stuff that's going on? Have you seen a change in your call patterns, and what has that been looking like?
We absolutely have. So historically for our local chapter, we receive about 200 to 300 calls a day, and that's for people all over Palm Beach and the Treasure Coast. Since COVID broke out last March, we actually doubled our call volume. So we were seeing upwards of 600 calls per day of people looking for, different resources and assistance in their areas. So that could be, again, employment services, food assistance, even coronavirus testing sites, things of that nature. So to your point, we have absolutely seen an increase in people that are reaching out to us just for either mental health concerns, wanting to learn the latest information about the coronavirus itself, and just what community-based programs are, of service to them at this time.
Okay. So, I've heard the term regional responders. So do you tell me a little bit about regional responders that you have for our community?
Absolutely. So most notably, we are the national or the regional responder for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. A lot of folks may be familiar with the 1-800-8273-TALK number. It's the National Suicide Awareness Lifeline number. So what that means is if there's any resident from the areas that we serve actually calling into that national number or texting or chatting with them online, it's actually going to kick back to us locally at our 211 chapter to field that call and then again get them connected to services. So that's what it means by being a regional responder. It's usually a national organization that if there's someone that's a resident of our counties we serve, that will kick back to us, that we will be able to assist them in their time of need. We also do that for the domestic violence hotline, as well as the sexual assault and violence hotline as well. But most notably is the suicide prevention line. They actually give us additional funding to be able to support them in, in residence through that time.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. What about, I know there's some other programs that you also oversee through 211. Tell me about the Sunshine Program. I've kind of heard some information about that, but I would love to know more about it.
Absolutely. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that not only are we a suicide prevention line and a referral line, but we also have auxiliary programs. So the Sunshine Program is one of our auxiliary programs. And what it is a completely volunteer-based program where our volunteers at 211 will reach out to isolated seniors every single day to check on their well-being. So what that means is, historically we've noticed that we've had seniors and residents in our areas that are either socially isolated, they don't have human contact, or maybe they've recently lost a spouse and they're living alone. Our volunteers will call them every single day to check on their well-being and making sure that they've had a hot meal, they've gone to their doctor's appointments, they are able to have transportation services, able to afford their medications, things of that nature, as a way for us to assess them and get them connected to services where appropriate. So it's a really great program, especially if there's adult children that live out of this county or out of this state that maybe they can't check in on their parents every so often. So what we do is we offer that friendly phone call for them to say, you know, hi, Mr. Smith, this is Colleen at 211. Just want to check in and make sure you're having a great day. And I know today's your birthday, so happy birthday or Merry Christmas or things of that nature. So again, it's that friendly hello to check in on them. Then another really great important note for that is that we actually do 3 attempt phone calls for each individual. So if there is someone that's in the program that wants us to call every single day at noon and we call at noon and they do not answer the phone, we will typically call a backup number, whether that's a relative, a neighbor, a friend, someone of that nature. And if that person hasn't heard from or spoken to that individual, we can actually work with local law enforcement and they will do a physical wellness check for that person just to make sure they're in a safe state. So as you can imagine, you know, we've found people that have passed out in their homes that are in diabetic comas that really do need, you know, that life-saving intervention that we can really be the forefront to get them that help.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about that because this sounds like something that can give us peace of mind. There's so many of us who are baby boomers who are taking care of our parents, and you know, we need some peace of mind. So how do you get the names of these people to check in? Or how, if I need that service or I want to tell my friend about this service, how do we access the service? How do we get registered for it?
Absolutely. So the easiest way is just to pick up the phone and dial 211, talk to any of our live representatives, and they will refer you to the Sunshine program there. The other thing you can do too is go to our website, which is www.211treasurecoast.org. There's going to be a services tab that has the Sunshine program there. That'll give you all the information about the program itself, and then also the second page that has the information that we need. So your name, address, if we need to send law enforcement there, your phone number, things of that nature. And then also we can correspond with you to make sure we have a time that you'd like us to call. So those would really be the 2 easiest ways to get a hold of our Sunshine representatives.
And it's free?
It is. All of our services are completely free to the public.
Wow.
Yeah. So it feels like we're the best kept secret sometimes. So.
Yeah, it is. That I was thinking that. I mean, when I began the interview, I was like, this sounds like the best kept secret since sliced bread, right?
Really, really does feel like that sometimes. Absolutely. Yes. All of our services are completely free to the public, and we never want to hinder someone that's, you know, going through a hard time or in a time of need to use our services. So yeah, we're very proud to offer that.
Do you have anything other than senior citizens? I mean, who typically are you serving?
Yeah, so we do have 3 other programs besides the Sunshine program that are our auxiliary programs. So basically it's all services of life is what we like to say. So we also have a pediatric outreach program. It's called our Help Me Grow program. And what it is we offer free developmental and behavioral screenings for children aged 0 to 8. And we find oftentimes that there are people that, you know, live in our communities that are not seeing a pediatrician regularly, or they have young children that they are wondering whether they're reaching their developmental milestones or things of that nature. So what we do is offer a free ages and stages questionnaire over the phone. It takes about 45 minutes. And what we can do is intervene for any child and family that we feel needs additional support or help. So we have found, you know, children that could be on the autism spectrum or could have behavioral challenges. And again, that we know that their trajectory is going to be so much better if we can get them connected to community-based services earlier on instead of just delaying any sort of intervention. So that's why we offer that program. And again, it's for children aged 0 to 8. The other program we have is a veteran support program. So we've noticed that oftentimes we do get veterans that call us that are either, you know, coming back to civilian life, that may be having suicidal thoughts. They maybe have issues adjusting or knowing what's available to them and their families. And what we do is have 2 retired veterans actually sit on our veteran support line to be able to refer veterans and their families to VA specific programs and services. So just a little bit of historical note is that, you know, if we did have a veteran call us before we launched this program, they could be reaching out to any of our call center representatives in their time of need. So it's very hard that we found for our veterans to really identify and connect with someone that may not have military experience like myself. And it's hard for me to really talk to them on their same plane because I haven't had their similar experiences or know what they've gone through. So that's why we've hired 2 retired veterans that can really walk the walk and talk the talk with these individuals that have been there, they've done that, they understand their very, you know, individual needs that they've gone through. And then again, getting them connected to services where appropriate. And then the last program that we have is our disaster distress line. So as we were in hurricane season, knock on wood till the end of the month, we also launch a list of really pertinent information during a hurricane or any sort of man-made or natural disaster. So whether that's special needs shelters, evacuation zones, places to get food assistance. We've actually launched it recently for the coronavirus pandemic. Just a really great way to get people the information that they can weather through life.
So what I like to talk a little bit more about, these are some wonderful programs that I knew nothing about. I want to talk a little bit more about each of those. So the Help Me Grow program that you mentioned, I know that if my child is enrolled in Early Learning Coalition or going to pre-K or what have you, I believe they do the ages and stages. So my question to you is, how do I, again, how do I refer someone to you? How do I get that information out to others? Just again, hit your, go to your website and identify that. Is there other ways we can get that information out to our parents?
Absolutely. So again, you could just go to our website, 211treasurecoast.org. Under our services tab, we have information about our Help Me Grow program there. Or simply, if you know someone with a young child, just let them know, have you done your ages and stages questionnaire with 211? And they can just simply pick up the phone and dial 211 any time of the day or night. And we are absolutely happy to do that for them. But yeah, we do work with our community partners. So whether we flag a child that may need that additional intervention, we are not service care providers ourselves. We are more the connection agency for them. So we do refer to the Early Learning Coalition. We do refer to other community-based services that can be able to provide that additional step past just the stages questionnaire.
So as I'm a parent that calls you up and I go through the 45-minute ages and stages, do I get a copy of that report? Do you refer me? What are the next steps that happen? What do I do with that information once you give that to me?
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you asked that. So that is actually the only case management program that we offer at 211. And what that means is that we actually, if we do flag a child that may need additional intervention, we will refer them, but we actually follow that case until they get connected to services. So if we find that there is someone that needs that additional help and they're kind of hitting a wall of finding what's available to them, we do not drop that case and just give them a number and send them on their way. We actually offer case management for that child and that family to be able to connect them to services. And to your point too, yeah, you absolutely do get a copy of the ages and stages questionnaire. You do follow up with our case manager, every so often to check in on that child, as well as with, the early coalitions or any sort of community referral agency that we work with too. So yes, we absolutely do due diligence and making sure that child gets the best and proper care available.
And with that, when should I say, hey, I think I need an ages and stages questionnaire? I mean, should I just do that as routine because I have a child? Or is there something that should trigger that, let me call 211 and see if I can get the ages and stages questionnaire?
Absolutely. I think it's just best practice just to do it regardless, because even if the test comes back and it says that, there is no further intervention needed at this time, then at least you kind of have that peace of mind. The other thing is too, is have a conversation with your pediatrician. If you're going to a doctor regularly and they're already getting those screenings and reaching those milestones the way that they should be developmentally, then absolutely. But I do not think there's a wrong answer, even just to do the free questionnaire, just to make sure that everything is going along the way it should be.
Okay, that's good to know. I think it's very important because a lot of times we are raising our child. I'm a new mother, and it's, it causes stress and anxiety because sometimes we don't know, is this appropriate? Is this not appropriate? Should my child be doing this? I think it would help me with my parenting or grandparenting one day. I want to be a grandparent one day because I'm done raising my children, but I would have loved to have this resource to be able to call up and find out. But once you do it, is it the only time I do it, or do I go on? Can I come back and do it again, like, in a couple of years, like when they're 4 or something?
Yeah, absolutely. So the questionnaire is available from ages 0 to 8. And to be completely candid with you, I have a 5-month-old daughter, and I just completed my ages and stages with her recently. And obviously she was not flagged for any sort of developmental or behavioral delays, but my case manager for her program said, you know what, that doesn't mean 3 months from now. We can go ahead and retest and make sure she's still reaching those milestones, because even though she is now, doesn't mean that in a couple months, maybe she has fallen a little bit behind or whatnot. So yes, it is best practice to, the case manager will let you know if there is, more intervention that's possibly needed, or just, case closed and, we're going on our way, and meet with your pediatrician or doctor regularly. And we're here if you need us. So it could kind of go one of each way. But our case managers are well trained and be able to identify that and then also refer properly.
Excellent resource. Once again, I didn't know that that existed. So I want to make sure that we get that information out to our community as well. We'll be posting some things on our website and our social media as well as it relates to St. Lucie Rise. Because, I mean, this is anything that I can to help me with my stress levels around raising my child. And particularly if you're at home and you're homeschooling your child, you may not necessarily know all or see the warning signs that the teachers would in the class and brick and
Absolutely.
mortar. So this is a tool. I think, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. I guess rounding out one of our last questions is, what if I just want to call you up because I want to talk?
That is absolutely 100% available as well. So again, we know how overwhelming it is for people that are in crisis and they don't know where to turn for help. Or again, if they've had a bad day at work, or they've had a fight with a spouse, or maybe, their child is having issues in school and they just want to troubleshoot maybe some of life's, normal, regular things that are going on. Or if they have stress around the coronavirus pandemic and they just want to talk to someone, we are 100% available for people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, as a free non-judgmental ear, just to listen and offer guidance where appropriate. So I really want to stress that you do not have to call 211 just to be referred to services. We are absolutely here to talk 100% of the time, 24 hours a day. And then also important to note too is that you don't just need to dial 211. We actually have other services to be able to reach our representatives. So you can actually chat with us every single day on our website, which again is 211.org. There's a chat on our main homepage, and you can click that to reach out to our representatives every single day from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Then we also have a texting service. So if you text your zip code to 898-211, it will pop up like an instant message screen to our resource specialists, and we can be able to converse with you non-verbally, over the internet. So there are multiple ways to get a hold of us, not just calling 211. So if you find yourself in a position that you cannot speak over the phone, please still feel free to reach out to us. 3 o'clock in the morning, on holidays, weekends, we are absolutely available for your needs.
I was thinking 3 o'clock in the morning. I was going to ask you. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I can just call you. I mean, and I might not want to chat, I might not type very well. So is there an option for me to call you any hour on the clock and there's going to be someone there to talk to me?
Any hour on the clock. And not only that, we have Spanish and Creole translators available as well. So you do not have to be a primary English speaker to utilize our services. Absolutely. So again, 3 o'clock in the morning, it could be Christmas Eve, it could be Passover, it could be the weekends, it could be a Saturday morning. It does not matter. Call us. We're here.
I tell you, it sounds like, it is a resource. I don't know about you, but sometimes just having an opportunity to talk about what's going on can help me relieve some of the issues that I have going on. So it is wonderful to know that you have the service available. Is there anything else that you want our viewers to know about the services that you have available?
Yeah, so just, again, for any sort of stages of your life, whether you have a small child or whether you're a senior citizen, we have programs available for you 24 hours a day. And again, if you are contemplating, ending your life, or if you need, emergency counseling over the phone, we do offer that as well. So we are absolutely here. Like I said, you do not have to be connected to services to utilize us. We're available for you in whatever space that you may need. We do work with about 1,600 agencies currently in our database. So we are referring to a lot of our community-based members over a wide variety of different services. We are confidential, so we never ask any identifying information from you. So don't use that as a hindrance to reach out to us if you are truly in need of help. So we never call your employers and say that you've reached out to us. We never, talk to any doctors or primary care. We're just here for you and your time of needs. So don't ever feel that you have to suffer alone in silence and hide in the shadows, especially now during a very stressful pandemic. We know that there are people struggling and trying to locate services, so please utilize us where appropriate.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Colleen. Colleen from 211. So I hope that the viewers and everybody that we're talking to, you spread the word. Make sure people know that they can call 211 in the middle of the night if they just need to talk or if they're in crisis. This is so important that we know what tools that we have available. So we've heard a lot of rich information there's for every stage of life. So I just want to make sure that you know about this. I invite you to peruse the 211 website and look at some of the services that are available to that to facilitate some of the needs you may have. I particularly, now that I know about the Sunshine Program, I'm going to be telling some folks about the Sunshine Program.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
so, you know, too, we're actually doing 500 calls to our senior citizens over the counties we serve currently in that program. So it's a very healthy and constantly growing program as well.
Okay. Well, I learned something new today. I hope our audience learned something today as well. So I just want to thank you. Not only thank you for the information that you shared with us with 211, but we also thank you for being an integral part of our Behavioral Health Task Force and building this opportunity for our community. So I just want to say to our audience, thank you for joining us. And please make sure that you access these resources that so that we all can rise together. We're better together. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Bye-bye.